obviously around here, we believe that you are an artist, even though you're in the financial field, right? And that you have this ability to, when you help people in the way that you are with investing their time, it literally can change the world by just finance.
Yeah.
And that's such a beautiful thing. And so you alluded to it, but take me back to kind of unpacking that a little bit. You said I've heard you tell the story, but I'd love for you to tell it again here, of asking your dad about, like, why is there a clock in our logo? That's like just a random thing to having a financial logo. Take me back to that moment where you started to kind of unpack this, invest your time wisely thing.
Yeah. So I think it was either last year or the year before. I was going through the rebrand anyways. So in 2004, when he started his first business, he put a clock as the O in performance. And he's kind of used it consistently. We changed it in 2005 or 2020 when we rebranded, made it like more whatever, like a widget clock. And again, as somebody who's trying to think, 20, 30, 40 years down the line, I want to create a lasting brand that makes a lot of sense to other people. And one of the things nobody's ever asked is, why is there a clock in the logo? Why does this matter? Like, even myself. So I finally go, hey, what's the clock all about? And he goes, well, time's the only asset you can't buy more of. And in that moment, I go, why have we not told anyone?
Just dropping that truth bomb on you. Just here you go.
We've never really used it like in conversation points. Like, we could build our entire business based off. That's a differentiator from, a Charles Schwab or like anybody.
100%. Yeah.
Ed Jones, all these guys. And we have this piece, this family business, this story that you heard the other day from Dad that, I called that podcast the 20-year overnight success. By the time we were over, I was like, man, it's a 40-year journey that I was learning things about.
Yeah.
So to be able to kind of slow down and say, all right, I'm busy, other people are busy. The bigger the client I work with, the more I realize how constrained they are on time.
Yeah.
It really fit into where we wanted to lead people. Right? We want to lead people. That's all our job. Our job is to be a guide on your financial journey.
Yeah.
And if we can take that time constraint of time and look at it in a different piece and use that as our, foundation conversation with clients,
for sure.
Even internally with our teammates, now you've created such brand value and life lessons. So that conversation has now stemmed into a small book that is still in editing, the podcast that's coming out, the whole brand update, and then truly something that I feel passionate about pouring myself into for the next 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where, it started and where it's leading us. And I'm excited about, the future along the way.
Yeah, man, I love that. Just seeing it beyond just now, and saying, hey, there's life in 20 years, there's life in 40 years that we can be investing in now that can change not only your life's trajectory, but your kids and then your clients and all of that. Like, dude, that's super, super cool. So obviously this has been something that you kind of embed into the work that you do with your clients. Is there a story that stands out? Is there a client that you walked some of this through with that kind of, you like, hey, let's figure this out for you so that you can invest over here? That's been maybe a cool, like, success story, if you will, or something like that.
Yeah, I would say, the interesting thing about like really turning this on in 2026 is I'm in pursuit of that goal right now, right? So like I can look back at the last 10 years and show you these client success stories that we have that also, translate to time. But right now, really trying to focus on those conversations. Like, I've got a young guy I'm working with now, runs a large scale construction company. He's about my age. I'm trying to really focus on the human element of it, right?
Yeah.
Of, he's got all this work. He does all his own payables. He does all his own receivables. He does all of his own payroll. And at the same time, he does all the work in the field.
Ooh.
And at the same time,
busy.
You can always buy equipment, but, there's to lower your tax bill, right? But you can always start to look at these other pieces that can look further and longer, right? So I'm starting to change the conversation of where do you want to be as opposed to, especially with business owner clients, because so many of them are just stuck in the job.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
get that.
For sure.
That how do you take some of these extra resources and save them not as a rainy day fund, but what is your ideal life at the, in 20 years? Where do you want to see your kids? Where do you want this, the compound compounding interest to hit, whether it's in dollars or if it's in lifestyle, right? So what I'm trying to do with him is I'm trying to relieve as much pressure off of his 7-day-a-week work schedule. And I'm trying to give him a more normal life, whether he likes it or not. You know what I mean? There's a lot of pain points along the way if you're used to that control. And there's always work to be done, whether it's raining or not in that business line. So it's this active pursuit of helping people that we're in right now.
That's good.
And I'm starting to feel the effects as a friend, right? Like these little moments where you're starting to reduce the stress and friction from someone to where that they can be hopefully a better father, a better husband. Those little compounding pieces are going to do him a lot better.
For sure.
And then the financial aspect, I can take those off his plate pretty quick, pass them to teammates, put him on a good program and a plan.
Yeah.
As long as we stick to it for a long enough time period, we can still hit those goals.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's fun as we've transitioned because I'm starting to see maybe a bigger impact than just trying to save somebody, dollars.
Yeah.
Which is where not where we've always been, but like that's kind of just been the MO.
Right. Well, in the financial world, like I'm thinking about it from my standpoint. If I came to you, I'm thinking about all of the ways that you can save me on taxes or save me on this or do this. Like my thinking is limited.
Yeah.
Right. And then I sit across the table from you and you go, where do you want to go? Like, here's this. And then you start to put that plan in place. Now, all of a sudden now I'm thinking bigger. I'm thinking differently. I'm thinking in ways that I wasn't thinking about, 20 minutes before I walked into your office. Right. And that's what I love. And that's why I say, man, like all of us are artists in our own way. And when you do that for somebody, like you change the way that they see their finances and now I'm thinking bigger. I'm thinking differently. I'm thinking in this way, like, dude, that's a game changer for people. And that's what being an artist is all about. And that's why I say that. And I know a lot of people kind of push back on me. I'm not an artist, man. I'm not creative like that. No, but like when you help people in that way, that is a life-changing creative experience for them.
Yeah.
And that's so cool. How does that sit with you when I say that?
It feels like imposter syndrome most of the time. Recording a podcast in the first place in, a basement feels like imposter syndrome. Like you have nothing to say. Sure. But I think it means that we're headed the right direction. And, if you've ever invested into, any sort of market and you're putting in your dollar cost average $50 a month, like Dad said the other day, the first 100,000 is the hardest to get. But after you get to 100,000, those numbers double a lot quicker, right? It's easier to go from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, and to 1.6 million. Once you get into the game of doubles, but it's those daily deposits that have to be made to get there, and you have to have that strong foundation at the beginning. So I think now that we're finally, I feel like 100% in. You know what I mean? Like I like to show up to work every single day. I actually don't like not working. You know what I mean? Like that's a tough piece for me because I think
hard to shut it off.
There's more you can do, which I think is completely healthy. And as long as we keep refining the process along the way, then, I hope that at the end of my life, you can see a lot of people do amazing things. It's not about me. The market's going to be the market. The insurance is insurance. All those things are what they are. It's just how many lives can we change along the way?